The morning came too quietly. Lan Wangji woke before the sun had fully cleared the horizon, its light slipping through the window lattice in pale ribbons. For a moment, he simply lay still, his breath measured, but his heart was anything but calm. Wei Ying was there. That was the first thing he registered, a warmth at his side, familiar and utterly devastating. This wasn't a memory, this wasn't imagined, it was real. Wei Ying slept facing him, his long lashes casting faint shadows on his cheeks. His mouth slightly parted in a way that stirred thoughts Lan Wangji had spent a lifetime suppressing. His dark hair had fallen loose during the night, spilling across the pillow and brushing against Lan Wangji's wrist where his hand rested far too close. Too close, Lan Wangji didn't dare move. He feared that if he did, everything he had so carefully locked away would finally break free. The night returned to him in fragments, moonlight filtering through the flowering tree, petals falling like snow, Wei Ying's laughter softening into a breathless quiet, and the moment when his own restraint had finally, irrevocably cracked. The kiss, it hadn't been rushed. That was what frightened him the most. It had been deliberate, chosen. Lan Wangji's fingers curled slowly against the bedding, his nails biting into his palm as he tried to steady himself. He had crossed a line, and there was no going back. Just then, Wei Ying shifted, his brows knitting faintly as he exhaled a soft breath. The sound went straight through Lan Wangji, settling low and dangerous in his chest. He knew he should move away, create distance. But he didn't, he couldn't. A few moments later, Wei Ying blinked awake. His eyes were unfocused at first, then they widened as recognition dawned. Lan Zan? Lan Wangji met his gaze. The silence stretched between them, thick, fragile, and trembling with everything they hadn't said. Yes, Lan Wangji answered quietly. Wei Ying's eyes flicked down, taking in their proximity, the way Lan Wangji's sleeve brushed his arm, the shared warmth. A slow, telltale flush crept up his neck. Oh, he breathed. So that wasn't a dream, Lan Wangji swallowed hard. No. Wei Ying let out a soft laugh, but it lacked its usual carefree ease. Pushing himself up on one elbow, he studied Lan Wangji with an intensity that made his pulse stumble. You're very calm for someone who kissed me like that. Lan Wangji turned his gaze away a mistake. Wei Ying noticed immediately. Lan Zan, he said, his voice gentler now. Look at me. Reluctantly, Lan Wangji did. Wei Ying's expression had shifted. The teasing was gone, replaced by something careful, something vulnerable. You don't regret it, Wei Ying said slowly. But you're thinking about it. I think too much, Lan Wangji admitted, his voice low. Wei Ying smiled faintly. You always have. He reached out, hesitated for a split second, then let his fingers brush against Lan Wangji's sleeve. It wasn't a grip, not a demand. It was a question. Lan Wangji felt that question in the light touch more clearly than any words. If he leaned in now, there would be no pretending later. I should not have acted without, Lan Wangji began, but Wei Ying interrupted him softly. Without permission? Lan Wangji closed his eyes for a brief, painful moment. Yes. Wei Ying's hand tightened slightly on his sleeve. Lan Zan. I knew it was you, he said. Even before you kissed me again. Lan Wangji's eyes snapped open. You did? Wei Ying nodded. You're terrible at hiding how careful you are. No one else touches me like I might disappear. The words struck him deeper than any blade, and Lan Wangji's composure cracked, just enough for the truth to escape. I feared you would, he admitted. Again, Wei Ying went completely still. Then, slowly, he leaned closer, so close that their breaths mingled, their foreheads almost touching. I'm still here, Wei Ying whispered. And I chose that kiss too. Lan Wangji's control wavered dangerously. His hand lifted, stopping just short of Wei Ying's cheek, trembling with the sheer force of his restraint. Do not say things you do not mean, he murmured. Wei Ying smelled a soft, sincere, unguarded expression that stole the air from Lan Wangji's lungs. I mean it, he said. And I'm not running. The space between them burned. Lan Wangji leaned in not for another kiss, but close enough that Wei Ying's breath hitched. If I cross this line again, he said quietly, his voice a low vow, it will not be something I take back. Wei Ying's voice dropped, becoming warm and certain. Good. For a single agonizing heartbeat, Lan Wangji nearly lost himself again. Instead, he rested his forehead against Wei Ying's gesture that was grounding, intimate, and a promise rather than an indulgence. Wei Ying smiled against him. You're suffering, he teased softly. Lan Wangji answered with raw honesty. Yes. Wei Ying's laugh was low and full of fondness. He closed his eyes. Stay, he said. At least until the sun finishes rising. Lan Wangji did not hesitate. Amen. Outside, the morning continued as if nothing had changed. But inside the quiet room, everything had. And Lan Wangji knew with a quiet and absolute certainty that whatever path lay ahead, he would no longer walk it, pretending his heart was untouched. Not after this. Not after Wei Ying.